So basically what I've got set up here is I have the Roland drum pads triggering drum loops in Ableton. And then, so my bottom two rows will trigger drum pads that I can just basically map out. Anyway, so I have a few different presets that do that. And then my top two rows control all of my sounds that I use. So for example, in this, I'm using a distorted guitar. In Contact, I have a cleaner, more like Edge, Eric Johnson. I have bass. I have my piano, which is Keyscapes. I also have a Rhodes, that's also Keyscapes. A Whirly, that's Keyscapes. And then lastly, just a Omnisphere running some random pads, things along those lines. So if I wanted to do something like Where the Streets Have No Name, I could do something like, you know, you got the whole... Anyway, the big thing is I couldn't find any type of forums or anything that really showed how to make all this work with the drum pads. And basically, if you notice, when I switch from sound to sound, I'm not getting notes being played on any part of my key bed, regardless of what sound I'm on. My Rhodes covers the whole 88 key bed. Anyway, so I figured I would show a quick video on how I did this. So if you go into your DAW control, so you hit DAW control and you go to Ableton. So DAW, find Ableton. And what I did was I moved the TX channel to 2. Okay. And then from there, that is basically all that you do on the Phantom itself. So now the Phantom basically sits in this mode. So if you need to transpose, you need to do your octave stuff, you can do all that. But now what I'm going to do is solely everything else is going to be in Ableton. So I'm going to move over to Ableton. So for example, now that I have it set up, I went up to MIDI and mapped out all of my scenes, each one individually. To launch with the bottom notes of my keypad. And then I went over here to the individual sounds, picked them, and then started on 13 and 14, so on and so on. So basically mapped it out however I want. Right now I have it mapped out to where my top 2 rows of pads are sounds, and honestly I could do the top 3 and then just the bottom 4 for this particular set. Anyway, you can get as crazy as you want to with it, and I'm sure you could probably go in and tweak individual MIDI stuff. But I just wanted something that I could trigger loops, I could do tap tempo, the whole 9 yards, and then I could switch from sound to sound using these pads versus actually key mapping it or having a trigger pad. So basically, now I can go here. And then I'll switch over to my Rhodes. So, sorry, I know this video isn't like the greatest quality, but there's nothing that I can find out there. And if so, people can feel free to shoot me a link. I'd be more than happy to reference something else, but you know, I love using Ableton Live, and most of my keyboards, you know, I try to get ones that will let me play versus having to spend all my time on a computer. And this FA08 has been awesome to play live gigs and use Ableton. So anyway, there's my plug.